Yeah.
Good to see you,
Hey,
brother.
yeah, you too, brother. You too.
It's
How's
kind of
things?
funny. We live just down the street from each other, but we're on Zoom. But I just wanted to keep the consistency in the interviews, and
Yeah,
this
that
works,
makes
right?
sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
works good. I'm outside and the sun's in my eyes, so I got my old man sunnies on, so it's all good.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice, nice.
So
Um,
how is the other? How many other people have you interviewed so far?
so far I've done Junk. I started with Junk. I did Cavi, who's
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
East Coast.
yeah.
I did
Classified.
I did Classified, and I did Evil Ebenezer, but the thing didn't record.
Ah, shit. Okay.
So I hit him up. He hasn't hit me back yet, but I think I'm not sure if he wants to do another one, but it's all good. We're
What
just
it
gonna
is.
keep going. I got you. I'm talking to Socrates right now. I'm trying to get Tom Green on. I'm trying to.
Yo, Tom Green would be crazy.
He's a rapper, man. He's unreal like that.
Oh
But
yeah, he's dope.
yeah, for sure. Like some of it's funny, but he used to be like a real rapper.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember him on MTV and stuff like that. Like, yeah, he was doing some funny shit, but that guy had bars too, though.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
fucking did. Okay, let me get into these questions. So, where did you get your name? And do you think it needs to change now that you live in Sandwich?
Oh yeah. Definitely local authorities gave me the name. You know, they called me Mr. Esquimalt because I grew up in that neighborhood, and it wasn't until I got locked up and went through parole hearings and things like that. Every room I'd walk into, oh, Mr. Esquimalt's in the building. And I'm just like, where are you guys even getting this from? So when I did decide to come back into the music, that was that was kind of like a spit back in the face, right? But I
Yeah,
do
makes
feel
sense.
like I don't correct people when they say, yo, Mr. Esquire or Mr. Esq or anything
Yeah,
like that. I don't really correct anybody because like I feel like I don't want to just be pertained to a certain neighborhood on Vancouver Island because if
yeah,
I want to look bigger and globally, maybe I should be Mr. Esquire. You know what I mean?
right.
Maybe, you
It's
know,
open to interpretation.
yeah, kind of what people, and I don't want to be the dickhead that's like, oh, no, it's actually ESQ. Because you know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, they're like, why don't you write that out properly then? Because people don't know how to pronounce it anyways. I put it in a couple of songs. The one on the bridge, I was like, hopefully people would understand
Yeah,
where it came from at that point. But yeah,
you'd
no,
think
that's a good
so.
one because I live in
Yeah,
San.
yeah, yeah. Um,
That's
okay, so next question here. Who is your biggest influences in music growing up, and also specifically like Canadian rap, like or not even rap, but just music?
obviously people know where my style gravitates from is obviously Tupac.
Yeah,
Tupac Shakur was definitely the one I listened to most. West Coast music, West Coast hip hop was definitely my main source of uh of where I got my
okay.
style from, I feel. Yeah, Tupac, the Outlaws, South Central Cartel, Spice One, those that was my catalog. Scarface, E40, like the
Yeah,
Bay
yeah.
Area guys. Those were heavy in my playlists for sure. When I was younger, I had all the CDs and stuff like that. You know, and you had the old booklet that looks like, four
Yep.
discs per page, and you got the stack, and it's all like West Coast, Too Short and fucking all that shit. Yeah, Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's where I like the little harmonizing stuff from. But I feel like I can't sing, but I'm trying to get a little bit into it.
A bit into what?
The singing part, like the
Oh
harmonizing,
yeah. Oh,
right?
like I like Bone
Yeah,
Thugs. Yeah, yeah. You're
yeah.
doing
In
great,
terms,
man. Yeah, your voice has come a long way.
yeah, and it's so deep, and people are like, "Well, what did you say? Like, how? What is this guy like?" So, especially performing, that was a big thing for me is having that deep, deep, raspy voice. Fuck, in terms of Canadian artists, though, growing up,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyone that you looked up to? For myself, it was like Cardinal Official, um,
Yeah, okay, Rascals.
Classified.
Yeah, Classified was definitely up there. Cardinal Official, the Rascals, Red One and them. They Swollen Members, they were like doing their thing when I was locked up. I was like seeing all these guys on MTV. I was like, holy fuck. There was a couple other young cats, like these little white guys. Looks like the hat was way too big for them, and they were from like Toronto or something like that. But they could spit like crazy. So I
I don't
can't
remember
remember the
who that
names.
was, but
No, I can't remember either. But he was popping off at the same time Classified was on on MTV. But yeah,
okay.
definitely those guys. Um, I was more so thinking about like what influenced me as in terms of like when I really started listening to music and writing when I was like 12, 13 sort of thing. Those
Yeah.
guys didn't pop off till I was more like 18, 19, 20 sort of
Yeah.
thing, right? So I was like,
Fair enough.
okay. But yeah, yeah. So like when I was 12 and 13, I didn't, not much Canadian artists were really popping. It wasn't until about
No,
5 or 6 years later.
it's come a long way. I mean, I guess with the help of much music and stuff, but
Yeah, Toronto
yeah,
really gets it.
like now we've got so many poppin' artists that people that don't even know they're Canadian artists, like Drake and Belly
Yeah,
and stuff.
Belly is
Justin
sick.
Bieber.
Belly is sick. I remember when he came out. He did that song about the hockey Ontario. That was crazy. He was the first one that made like a sports song, like actually listenable. In my opinion, I don't know. I felt it. I was like, yo, this
I didn't
guy.
hear that one.
It was crazy. This was years ago, and he fucking nailed it, man. He nailed
Nice,
it. Yeah.
nice, nice. Um, what is your family dynamic like, and what do they think of your music?
My family's strong. My family dynamic is really good. I'm really close with a good portion of my family. They're all very, very supportive of me. Um, just because like I would say 70-80% of my music does pertain to like preaching a different path and like,
Yeah,
learning from your mistakes and utilizing what you go through in life and helping others and changing the direction of young minds. So I feel like they can see through the clubby songs about fucking girls and living it up with your homies, or like the gangster rap music
yeah.
where you're glorifying shit. I feel like they listen to all my music, but they know where my heart sits with it, right? So I
Okay,
feel like yeah, but in terms of like family, yeah, really solid, really strong, really supportive. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah,
yeah,
my family's the same. If for people that don't know that are just tuning in for Mr. Esquimalt, I'm a rapper as well. We've got an album out together actually. But
yeah,
yeah, my family's very supportive. I don't think they all understand it really. Like they don't come from hip hop,
yeah,
but they're supportive of it, so it's nice.
yeah. Plus your style, very, very intricate, and I feel like you got a lot of artists as fans because they understand how
Thank you.
you
Yeah.
put the words together, how intricate it is, and how your wordplay is. I mean, I'm a huge fan of it. I drowned out the beat when I hear your songs because I want to hear the words you say because I'm like, how the fuck does this guy do this? Because I don't know how to rhyme that with that and this and that. I'm like, God damn. But that album we did together was like 2 or 3 years in the making. We were sitting
Yeah.
on a bunch of stuff, and I feel like both of us grew so much. And then you threw out that Victoria song one day. The album was wrapped, and you're like, we're
Yeah.
gonna axe this song, and we're putting this one in. I was like, God damn! And that one was that. I feel like that one's the best song on the album.
I
You
feel
came
like
with a
it's
different cadence,
one of the best
yeah,
songs. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
I
an
feel like
anthem.
it's
I'm surprised that hasn't popped off more. I told you that I was gonna remix it. Did I tell you that?
no, but that's a fucking great idea.
I'm trying to get like a more of a folk artist on it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I was gonna keep my verse and then the hook and then just throw a folk artist on it. So
perfect.
you'd be taken off. Sorry, you and Levant would be taken off. But I
That's totally okay. This is what songs are made for. You'll be able to use them again and again and again. I got
yeah,
lots of songs with all these different artists, and I definitely plan on putting their verses on other things and capitalizing on doing all these features. Right? It's the only way
I
to get
talked.
out. Right?
I've talked to a few folk artists and none of them have been up for it yet. They are very busy, like
Yeah.
local folk artists. But I'm trying to get Paiute to talk to Prevail
Oh, wow, that would be sick.
because he's from Victoria, so he would be a perfect fit for it. I don't know. I've messaged him. I haven't heard back yet, but hopefully he comes through. But
I'll
we'll
text
see.
Matt out. I'll text Matt Child and say, look, man, if this
I,
guy
I
wants to
met,
get on the song.
yeah, that'd be dope. If you could, I mean, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I took
it
some,
might come with it. He might want some sort of compensation for it, but
yeah,
that's the name of the game, right? We can
yeah,
facilitate that and make it happen. I feel that would be an easy one. I feel you can get. You know what I mean? Especially if he actually seen the message, opened it, and said, "Oh fuck, okay, this is going to be a jam, right?" So
yeah.
yeah,
I stupidly sent Mad Child a message asking him to be on the song because I thought he was from Victoria, but he didn't reply. But
he's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
right,
So he didn't reply. Come on, Mad Child. You know who Flesh is. Come on.
that's okay. That's
Yeah,
all good.
yeah.
Next question. What does mental health look like to you?
Mental
Like,
health is
or
something.
good mental health?
Good mental health. I
Yeah,
mean,
like
for me,
maintaining your
it's
mental health.
yeah. Like for me, it's a lot about the self talk that having those conversations within myself and challenging the negative ones and staying into fitness and listening to my body. That's what I feel is the best counter to what I go through in terms of mental health and battling with the negative thoughts and disgracing yourself and talking shit about your own image. These are all things that you look in the mirror and you're like, they cross your mind, or am I good enough? Why do I deserve a second chance? Or things like that.
Yeah,
Why should people listen to me? So I feel like it really comes down
self-talk.
to, yeah, the self-talk. It's what you tell yourself every day, right? If you look in the mirror and say, I'm going to be the fucking greatest, chances are you're going to strive to be your best version of yourself, right? If you look in the mirror and be like, fuck, I'm a piece of shit for some shit I did as a kid or whatever, then, you know, chances are you're going to sit in that for a long time, and you won't be able to grow as an individual. That's how I feel.
That's a good answer. I like that.
Thanks, man.
Uh, can you I know you're probably tired of talking about this, but could you tell me about why you went to prison and just a
Yeah.
little bit about that?
Yeah. I talked to my family, my friends. You're obviously a really good friend. Me and you have had many conversations, and obviously my woman and my daughters. I'm an open book when it comes to this. In
Yeah,
terms of the 300 reporters in my DMs, I'm not interested in having a conversation with them. So, but in terms of us, it's like, yeah, absolutely. It dates back to like the neighborhood I grew up in. Obviously, I grew up in Esquimalt and selling dope and just living in that shitty lifestyle and battling different areas of the neighborhood, kids fighting kids, different schools. We'd fight different schools and
were
shit
you in a
like that.
gang or no?
No, it wasn't necessarily any gang activity whatsoever.
It's
It
just a
was
group of
more so
people.
like, yeah, it was just more so neighborhood representation type stuff, right? People seem to put a stamp on it based on like the states and it's some other shit like that.
But
Um,
you didn't have like a name like you guys were the Outlaws or some shit like that.
no, that'd be pretty cool though if we were the
Yeah.
outlaws. But no, we just represented Esquimalt, and that was probably the biggest downfall of a lot of young guys from my generation. And then the hanging out in the wrong crowds and the selling drugs and guns and doing all that kind of stuff. I was working for these guys, and I ended up meeting a girl, and I got her pregnant, and she moved away. She moved to Campbell River, and I was like, fuck, I was 18 years old, didn't know what kind of father I would have been. Who knows? But I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take off and go see what kind of dad I'll be. I don't want to be a piece of shit. I'll never turn my back on my blood. So I moved away to Campbell River, and
Yeah.
she went into premature labor. I think she was about 7.5, 8 months pregnant, and we lost my son at birth, and that really took a lot out of me. And I
Yeah.
started like really, 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 really drinking heavily. I got up to a 40-pounder or two 26ers a night. So it wasn't
I
it
can't
wasn't
even
the best,
picture you. I can't even picture you drinking like that. Like knowing you now. Like, yeah, that's
right?
wild.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, because I'm 24 years sober now, but like in that moment, that was my coping mechanism because I've never learned how to deal with loss, right? A lot of people don't, and that's why we all struggle as human beings. It's like we're not we're all selfish. We don't want to experience loss. We want everything to last forever, but nothing does, right? So I ended up drinking my face off and turning into a raging alcoholic. And then I told the girl, I said, look, I'm moving back to Victoria. And she was spot on with it, man. She said, you'll be dead or in jail within 6 months. So I moved back to Victoria 90 days later. I was locked up for facing 14 years. But the night of the event, we were all at this party, and this guy was walking down the street, and some girl made an accusation. And this is all what I'm piecing together, anyways, because I have no recollection of it. I drank 2 26ers that night, blackout, woke up in a cell, charged with manslaughter. That's
Damn.
that's my memory of it all. But a girl said, pointed out a guy, said some shit, and I punched him. And he hit his head, the concrete, the back of his head on the concrete. One hit. Nobody else did anything to him. And then I woke up in the cell charged with manslaughter. They dropped it to aggravated assault. And then I said, I didn't aggravatedly assault anybody. In my opinion, I didn't.
Because he didn't die, right?
Apparently, he died about 6 times on the way to the hospital.
Oh,
So
I see. So
yeah, so
even though, but he was revived. Like, is he alive now? Of
he's alive now in a persistent vegetated state. Not
Right.
nothing I would wish on anybody. You know what I mean?
course, yeah.
The quality of life just isn't there, and his family has to sit through that. It's fucking horrible. And
Yeah.
not a day I don't think about it, because I have a daughter too, right? I have two little girls, and I have brothers, and I have family, and I have a mom. You know what I mean? I'm a human being, so like even sitting here having this conversation with you, I would never want something like that to happen to you and have to sit through that.
Of
It's
course.
so I can't imagine what they're feeling. I too lost my son, but it was a lot different circumstances, right?
Yeah. I can't, I could, it's not hard to put yourself in your shoes. Like, in the
Yeah,
right circumstance, in the wrong circumstances, being around the wrong people like that.
yeah.
eh, How many people have punched somebody in the face? Like, it was just it was shitty luck. And,
That's what I mean. It wasn't like I intended to do that. It wasn't my
yeah,
intentions to make him
of course.
die or have to live like in the state he is. You know what I mean? And and I was running crazy. The week before that, I was charged with 5 counts of aggravated assault and released on
Yeah.
my own recognizance. And then I did that. The week before that, I was charged with a couple of assault charges. I was on a tear. I had to get locked up. It was like,
So how'd you, how'd you become such a balanced human being now? Like, what the fuck happened? It was a prison?
yeah, I did a lot of self work when I got locked up. I was facing 14 years, and I told
Just
the
like
judge, I
reading
said,
and stuff, or what?
I read a lot of stuff, right? I read a lot
Yeah.
of books. I read a lot of people. I heard a lot of stories. When you're in there, you can either you go one way or the other. You can
Yep.
either associate with certain people and listen to their stories. You know what I mean? The elders, the respectful guys, the lifers that have been through it. These guys are never getting out. Like they'll
Yep.
never have another shot again. And they're telling me their story. And, I hear my story and people are like, holy fuck, you buried your son. You were in a dark place. This happened. And they're like, wow, I'd never want to live like that. And then here I am hearing stories of shit that like makes my story sound like fucking nothing, because they've been through so much, you know what I mean? So I kind of like, I was just a sponge. I soaked a lot of stuff up. I did a lot of programmings and self work. So I did a lot of high intensity violent offender programs while
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was in there. I did a lot of whole time segregation, right? 24-hour lockdown, because it's crazy in there in the federal system. It's when I was in there, this is 20 years ago. So it's a little
You've
different
come a long way,
nowadays.
man. You've really come a long way. I didn't know you back then, but since I've known you, you've been an outstanding human being. Like, since you got out, you own a business. How many employees do you have?
I got like 25 guys that work for me, and they
You're
all got small
you're
families
Yeah, you're
and
responsible for 25
responsibilities.
people's incomes. Your
Yeah,
music career is starting to blow up.
it's starting.
You're not, I don't know, you're not in any gang activity. So, like, for the people watching that still hold judgment, just kind of keep that in mind,
Yeah,
Come along
definitely.
with it.
And I don't ever want to be like, hey, let me change your mind. I just usually say, look, you're entitled to judge me on who I was, because everybody is. But
Yeah.
also, mate, if you're going to do that, take the time to judge me for who I am today as well. and
I
then
just
see how it weighs out. Would you rather me out there doing these things I was doing, or would you rather me be the man I am today, repaid my debt to society, and became a productive member of society, raising two little girls, one adopted, doing everything I
exactly.
can for every single one of my friends and employees, take the shirt off my back for anybody because I would never want to live that life again, you know? So
You know what? It's funny because it's usually the people that believe that you can change your gender that are so against people changing their behavior.
yeah, behavior is a state of mind too. Like it's all about your mindset, right? When you're angry, you act a certain way. When you're happy, you act a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's just a reaction to your normal human thoughts. So I was in a really bad situation. You know what I mean? I buried my son and fucking life was over for me. I did not care. I did not want to fucking, I didn't even want to be alive. I didn't give a shit, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, fair.
that's the mindset versus now where I'm like, you know, the fucked up thing, my son was born January 13th. My daughter was born January 13th, 10 years to the day apart. So now I'm like, my daughter now is like my world, my life. This is like my now I'm like, this is my purpose to be a father. Back then, I don't know what kind of father I would have been. Probably a piece of shit. Who knows? But I tried to do the right thing. It didn't work out for me. So now I'm like,
Yeah,
I have a second
in a
chance at
fucked up
everything.
way,
Yeah,
it's kind of God's way of
one hundred
putting things
percent.
the way they should have been because you would have been a shitty father then and had a shitty upbringing for the kid, you know?
Yeah, I would have had a 20-something-year-old young man right now, and who knows what kind of life we'd be living. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd probably be in the ground. I'd be dead, and maybe he would be too, right? So
I
everything
feel you.
happens for a reason, man. Everything
Yeah.
happens for a reason.
You've got you got a lot of tattoos. Which one's your
Yeah.
favorite?
Um, I feel like they all mesh together. They all have like kind of the same purpose. They're all a reminder. Like my angel. I wear my heart on my sleeve right there. She's holding a heart.
Hmm.
This is a tribal dragon and some angels, and it's the difference between good and bad to remind me about like there is a dark side to me, and there's also a good side to me.
So
This sleeve is
you don't have one favorite segment though of it? Of like because I got the same. It's everything's like one tattoo, but like
yeah. I
my
feel like
favorite's my
maybe
owl.
your owl.
I got an owl on my chest. It's really dope.
Yeah, I got an owl on my arm
There you go. I like that fucking blue eyes. Nice.
and the tiger. So
Nice.
the owl was my grandmother's favorite animal, which then I inherited that as my favorite animal. The white tiger is the year of my daughter's birth, right? So that they all have very significant meanings. This whole sleeve is a dozen roses. It's a memorial tattoo for my grandmother and my grandfather. So it's like I bring them a dozen roses every day. Here
Nope.
you go. Right. So they all have meaning. My tattoo on my back is a cover up of my son's RIP tattoo. So it's a fallen angel because I feel like he's watching over me. He's got my back. And so everything has meaning for me on it. Right.
Yeah.
All the Spanish writing on my stomach, things like
Mhm.
that. So, yeah, very
No.
meaningful stuff. Right. You know the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. If it doesn't, it never was. So I have that in writing on my stomach in Spanish.
Nice.
Sí, yeah, si llamas algo de Hawera, salvovi a ti estudio si no lo es nunca fe. And then I have seven arrepentimientos tattooed on my stomach, which means no regrets.
What the hell is that? That was you just you that was you just
Spanish.
went telemundo. That was crazy.
That's some Spanish for you, right?
I didn't know you
Uh,
could do that.
yeah, I
Um,
had to learn a little bit. I had to learn a little bit to defend myself.
yeah, I guess so. Hey,
Yeah.
that's funny. I didn't know there was a big Spanish population in the prison here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's also a plan to dip to Mexico.
Yeah, I
But
feel you there.
I was like, I'm going on the run. I'm gonna get out and I'm dipping. But you know, everything happens for a reason. So I
Yeah.
got my education in there. I read a lot of books. I read the Bible cover to cover, lots in segregation. I took post secondary courses, Camosa College. Became a youth counselor. Have my ticket for like electrical carpentry. I did all that. I literally just soaked up as much information as I could. Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I wanted to
That
be a
I
youth counselor when I got out, and they they just said it's a conflict of interest because I'm a violent individual, right? So
I
that's
see.
why I use my music in the format that I use it in, to try and help these young guys. Because we glorify, me and you, we glorify things, and then they listen to it, and then they hear those couple of songs on the album that are like, huh, okay, these guys are telling me not to do the shit that I did, and they want me to go in this direction. Yeah, use music as an outlet. It is the best form of getting things off of your chest
Yeah.
by any means. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. It's like that's when
I
I
just
can
use it.
say,
I just use it as an outlet. I don't always keep the kids in mind and stuff like
you
and
yeah,
how they're gonna see it. It's just for me. It's just like getting out what I need to say. Like when I say music is therapy, I fucking mean it. Like
100%, man.
I'm just writing out my thoughts, and sometimes they're dark thoughts.
And everybody, if you only had positive music all the time, we would be questioned. If we were like, oh, we only have positive, everybody has these thoughts, man. Everybody has self doubt. Everybody has these negative fucking thoughts in their head, and
Yeah.
everybody wants to act certain ways. Everybody has violent tendencies.
I
It
guess
doesn't
I
matter.
just I rap about it so that like kids can know that they're not alone. You know, like they're not the only person feeling that way.
I know the type of music you've made, and you know what I mean. And I know the things that you've talked about in your music, and the foster care and the family issues and things like that. Like I understand you, I get it. I've listened. I hear your message, and it don't and it can be one bar in a song, and you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
that's where
yeah,
all this stems from because of this one
yeah.
little moment or something like that, right? So that's why I like to listen to your music and drown out the beat and get the clear message. It's
Thanks,
hard
man.
to sometimes because you're just fucking you're crazy with it. I swear you're one of the best with the pen, like since Eminem. It's crazy.
I appreciate that, man. I really feel the same way about you. You've really like I've watched your progression and you're fucking right up there with me at least, like if
Thanks,
not
brother.
above me. Like I'm glad to work with you.
Dude, we
Um,
gotta make volume 2 of our we gotta keep we'll just keep going, man. Like
yeah, fuck yeah.
I feel like with the direction I'm going, music is about to get to the next platform. I don't say blow up or this and that, but I feel like we're almost at that next level, the next step where it can be, Canada wide tours we're headlining and like people are actually coming to see us as opposed to us opening for these bigger names, being
Yeah.
like, oh, Flesh and Fur is opening for D12 or whatever it might be. They're like, I'm going to see Flesh, right?
Yeah,
A lot of people that come to our shows are there to see us.
I feel like you're definitely on the cusp of like getting there where you could do your own tour and fill rooms and shit. Like you're right
I hope
there.
so.
I'm not quite there yet. My numbers are not quite there, but once this album drops with Lynch, I think it's and we do a world tour,
Yeah.
um, then you know things will get
Then the next step is
popping.
yeah. See, you just got signed. That's your step. You just haven't released the album and you haven't done the tour. But that's
Yep.
your step right there. You're already elevated to the next level. You're
Yep.
signed, Brother Lynch, dude. Like
All
there's
right.
people that would die to be in your position. They beg to be in your position. They're trying to send producers their shit to be in your position. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
people and you find out people's true intentions and jealousy of you when you're not even knowing it. You're opening arms to people and saying like, yo, because I'm the type of person that is like, hey, if I'm making it to this level, I'm bringing my boys with me. You know what I mean? If I'm the next Tupac, Tupac brought the Outlaws. Eminem brought D12. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like Master P brought No Limit. Like everybody has their background, their crew, their squad.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, we make music and it doesn't matter who listens to it. Like we're appreciative of the people that make music, but we make music because we want to work together and we like each other and we're bros and we make killer fucking music. Didn't
Exactly.
matter if it was just our friends make it listening to it or our family. Me and you would still go out and make music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's what it
I
is.
agree. I
There's a good
I think
handful of guys in the city that are just like I feel like once something happens, it's we're all going.
yeah. No,
Guys
I
are
agree,
telling me,
man.
"Yo, ESQ, you got this world tour, man. Who do you want to bring on with you?" Well, you guys might not know them, but I know them, and they're the best fucking artists on the fucking planet, as far as I'm concerned. I'm bringing my boys, this, that, and the other, right? So
Yeah. No,
that's
I feel you, man. I feel you. You so you recently you've had this video on TikTok that blew up. You're at how many million views?
I think we're gonna hit 3 million views today on TikTok.
That's
Yeah,
insane, man. And you dropped it how long ago?
like 5 days ago.
That's insane. So
And we got
you
53,000 new followers on TikTok off of it. And I'm recording verse 2 and the skit tomorrow at 7 a.m. on my job site.
That's amazing. I can't wait
Yeah,
to see it. Yeah, that you're getting good with the skits with the help of DTG. I'm liking
that guy
seeing that.
is a mastermind. I've kind of like I went out to Kelowna, and he's been a good friend for a number of years now. And I went out to Kelowna, and he put me and my girl up there, took us out for food. Really, the hospitality was amazing with him. And then he was just like, let's do this Eminem skit where I'm all jacked, and it's like if Eminem had a personal trainer. And then I end up like smacking him in the head, like get the fucking work here. But he's like, we were just sitting there, and he was just like, you know what, I believe in you. He's like, I can see this. He's like, I don't know how you haven't popped off yet. And that's sometimes all it takes is that one person to believe in you. I've made songs with countless artists, countless big name artists. You know what I mean? Few of them are starting to put the songs up because I'm a little artist. I get it. They don't want to promote these little
Yep.
guys down here. Oh, this guy's got 30,000 monthly listeners. They got millions. They don't want to.
Personally, I don't get it. If I'm feeling the song, I don't care how many listeners that guy has. I'm gonna promote it. But
And
it's
that's
just
how
me.
DTG said it to me. He's like, I believe in you and I stand by you. And a lot of people just don't stand by their craft. They see a dollar bill, they'll do a
Yeah,
feature, and they'll carry on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's like for me, I feel like I bodied everybody on my features that I just got put out. You know what I mean? So like, if I embarrassed you just got to say so, man. Maybe
Maybe
I'll take
that's it.
it.
Maybe people are just embarrassed that you bodied them on the song, and they're like, I don't want people to see that I got bodied on this song.
Yeah. But like, you know what I mean? I do features for guys too, and I'll always put the song up. I'll always put it on my story because
Same.
I'll always support that. And some guys I don't even know, and they've obviously hired me to be on a song and at a reasonable rate that I feel I'm worth.
Yeah.
And I'll always put the song out for them because I stand by my craft. You know what I mean? And I feel like
Yeah.
as artists, if we all did that, because I'm not going to lose any fans by promoting this guy. He's going to
No.
gain some, but I'm never going to lose any. It's
Exactly.
impossible. Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
I totally agree, man. I'm right there with you.
yeah.
Um, let's see. You and I know that rappers are like fucking difficult to work with, like, right?
Yes. Uh,
Um,
we're all
I hate
drama queens.
so many drama queens. Everybody's got their egos.
Yeah.
Um, you don't have to throw anybody under the bus, but like you've worked with a lot of legends lately. You've got Locksmith, you've got Merkules, you've got uh who else? You did Terrell
Annoyed
Safari.
from the Connecticut, Terrell Safety, Spice One, Young Noble from the Outlaws, Dave East, Millies. I got
Yeah,
tons of stuff with everybody right
yeah.
now. And I'm still sitting on an arsenal more. I still got songs coming up with Mercules and Quake Matthews, and we got some real cool shit. I got some stuff coming with Snack the Ripper. I got a lot of stuff in the bag. In
That's
terms of
amazing,
like,
man. That's absolutely like you're forcing yourself to be the next level. Like there's no way you can't be, but when you align yourself with these people, like you are just on that level.
I'm following the formula. I feel is what I
Yeah,
have to do. Is like there's a step that I see these bigger artists do. They get on with bigger artists, and hopefully that
yeah,
goes pop right. And it's cool. Locksmith threw my song up. It's on his Spotify. Annoyed from Connecticut, who's cool with like Chris Webby and them.
yeah.
It's on his profile. So
That's
yeah, I'm
wicked.
working. I'm working with a lot of guys.
Anybody that you had was like horrible to work with that, or you've tried to work with that you want to mention?
I feel like
I hate to put you on the spot. You don't have to answer it, but
No, I feel like in terms of the artists, you know what to expect. They're all busy, they're all big, they're all massive artists. If
so you
they
don't
get
take
to it,
it
they'll get to
you
it.
don't take it personal.
No, I'm not necessarily are. Sometimes I'm like, motherfucker, stand in front of me and do that. See what
Yeah,
happens. You know what I mean? For the most part, I'm like, you're busy. You left me on red. It is what it is. In terms of like business, all of them have been very straightforward, and the one thing that they've all said about me is that guy's good at business because I'm a businessman. So they
Yeah, fuck
understand.
yeah.
The one person that kind of threw me sideways is my motherfucking boy Young Buck.
Really?
Motherfucking Young Buck. I love Young Buck. I bump him all the time. We text, we talk, and it's only because we had an agreement to do a full project, and it was going to be on his platform. And when it came time to release the first single, his manager came back and wanted more financing and things like that. And I said, no, we have a concrete agreement. We are to see how the first single goes on his platform. Then we move to the next 6 singles. We do 4 releases. Then we drop the album. The album's going to be called Lord Knows, which we have the song, and that's coming up next on one of my releases. But yeah, I got a couple of songs with Young Buck now. Didn't make the album that I wanted, but maybe in the future. You know what I mean?
So it's not going
Now
to go on his platform?
it's not going on his platform. That's the that's
Mm.
the that's the one
That's
thing.
kind of shady to go back on things after things are concrete like that. Yeah, I feel you.
Like, we were agreed on a price, and investors were implementing finances, and
I'm sure I'm sure that
we
was his
ran.
manager doing that, not him
It
even. You know?
100% was, and he's cool. He's got all his stuff with 50 going on. He paid that all off. Good for him. You know what I mean? I wish nothing but the best. But when the conversation, I had a 3-way call with him and his manager, and I said, "Hey, man, it's cool for me to do a song with you or 2 or 3 or 4 as a fan because I fucking love Young Buck. He was savage
Yeah,
and
of
G. You know what I mean?
course.
Business wise, doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense for me to just do a song as a feature with one of these guys. They have to be a main artist. I have to go. My name has to be on their profile in order for me to capitalize on my investment.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. You're smart about it
Yeah,
because I don't do that. I don't know about the contracts. I don't know about all that shit.
yeah.
We gotta sit down and you gotta show me that one day. But
Me and Merkules had a an idea to do a an album together, which we did, and I released it. He's a feature on the whole thing, so he's on every 10 songs as a feature. But it is an album with me and Merkules. The whole thing is me and Merk. But his manager is the one that wanted certain finances and this and that. I just couldn't. It was it was a good like opportunity for me, but
mhm.
I would have got the investment back. I just didn't have the capital to do it. Right.
Yeah,
So they
fair
said,
enough.
okay, you pay this X amount. He'll be on the album. It'll be a main. I get all of that money first before he receives a dime. That's what
Yeah,
the contract was. But
fair enough.
you know what I
Sometimes
mean?
it's a good investment, like because like for example, my feature with Tom McDonald, I paid $400 on that, and I've made over 1,000 on it just on
Easy.
streams and buys and shit, right? So just it is a good investment a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I've definitely gotten my return off of the Merc stuff because his release radar, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah,
He
the
is
Merc
he is
effect
a
is real.
massive artist. Mercules is a massive artist, and he's my boy. Like we're bros, and we were just FaceTiming the other day. So like he's don't get anything twisted. We're tight, and he understands that. And he was like, "Your business mindset is crazy. Like it's so good." And he's like,
Yeah.
"I fuck with you hard, right?" So, and
That's
then I
dope.
said, "Okay."
He's a solid human. I've met him a few times and he's always been stand-up guy.
I said, "Fuck with me hard enough and put me on your tour as your main tour support, then cocksucker,
That would be
motherfucker."
amazing. You'd be a good fit for that for sure. I would love
Yeah,
to see that, man.
it would
Um,
be cool enough for me to like do my set and then maybe have him come out, bang out one of our songs, and then continue on as his main tour support guy. That
that'd
would
be a
be
good
like,
look. That'd be a good look. That's what I'm hoping me and Lynch can do when we're on
yeah.
tour.
So me and Mercules have had a lot of conversations about business and music and what the next step looks for us as of recent.
Yeah.
So we've talked about once his next album is getting ready, then I've made my requests, I've made my demands, and he's like, "You motherfucker, you put it straight forward." He's like, "I fuck with you." So the next step is me on his album as a feature, and with a beat produced by C Lance. And
Sick.
that's my next step. So I'll
That's
be on
amazing.
Mercury's album. So
That's amazing, man.
that's what I told him. I said, "Fuck around, man. Let's do this."
Okay.
So I'm putting in the work to do it. And I'm starting to get the recognition. They're like, when I first came out, I'm like, yo, give me a feature, give me a feature, give me a feature. And I'm doing this. But then as we've progressed over the years, they're
Mhm.
like, yo, they all just keep saying it. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. We see you. So it's good to at least hear that.
That's good. That's good to have that recognition, you know?
Yeah.
When did you start rapping and why did you choose that genre to voice your thoughts? Like,
I think for me, I started like writing like poetry and stuff when I was like 12, and it was definitely Tupac with the poetic, really like clear spoken words,
yeah.
really emotional felt type stuff is what I gravitated towards, and yeah, that's when I really started writing. I was any nowhere close to as good as him at the time, even now, but that's what
When did you start listening to rap?
when I was about 12 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so
What
we're
what was the
30
first
years.
song?
Man.
I can distinctly remember watching Make 'em Say on a scrambled BET channel on my
Yeah.
downstairs basement television. I was like, what the hell is this? And after that I was enamored with hip hop.
Yeah. I feel like, Naughty by Nature was probably one of the first influence of me, House of Pain. Um yeah, and then it became like Tupac, Scarface.
Yeah, yeah,
Too Short was really popping
yeah, yeah.
back then too, right? So that I feel like that's when I really got into it. Naughty by Nature, House of Pain, Cypress Hill, when they all started really, really picking up at that age for me. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
man.
nice.
And then
Um,
I took a hiatus. Obviously, I didn't write for quite some time after my incarceration and stuff like that.
right.
And then
Did you write a lot in jail, in prison?
I wrote a bunch of stuff when I first got sentenced. I blurted out an album in there. I recorded it and sent it out to some people in the streets. Just wanted to get it out there, say my piece on how I felt about all the situations that were going on, and
That's
it
worth
it
it.
went to the people that it needed to. It wasn't like some big thing to go around and get on all these platforms because it didn't exist back then. I just needed my people in my circle to hear what my thoughts were on certain people and
Did you
situations.
spit it through a jail phone or what? How did you do it?
On a computer, yeah, holding a little dinky microphone,
Oh shit. Oh
like
wow.
old school, like Dr. Dre beats and Tupac beats, shit
That's
like
cool.
that. Yeah,
That's
it was
cool.
fun. But yeah, I wrote a lot of stuff while I was in there. I wrote a song that I just put out on my Esquire album, Dark Nights and Sunny Days. I wrote that while I
That's
was in
it.
segregation,
That's
and I had
nice to
a
put out those, eh? To
like a
put out
little.
old ones that are gems like that.
Yeah, I wrote it, and I just didn't have I didn't have the right feel for it, or right beat, or anything. But I wrote it on napkins with a 2.5 inch long pencil in segregation when I was 19. That was it. And now it came out, and now it's like my favorite song. I got my brother singing on the hook. It's
Fuck
crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy how
I
things
don't
like
know if I remember that one. I'll have to go back and listen to that one.
yeah, it's
Um,
track two, I believe track 2 or 3 on Esquire album.
okay, I'll check it out. What do you like any other genres or like is there any
Oh
other
yeah,
bands and
yeah,
shit that you listen to?
yeah. Like I was pretty big on Linkin Park too at the time because they
Yeah.
are kind of poppy. Oh, Cayman's at the door. I think baby's asking for me. I'm just gonna
Yeah, no worries.
the voicemail. It's all good. All right, there we go. Yeah, no, I listened to everything. Like I grew up on like Metallica, Kiss, Iron Maiden, things like that. And then I like some country stuff, you
Okay.
know. Yeah, but like Linkin Park type stuff is cool. My favorite band would be like Queens of the Stone Age. Those guys are sick. I've seen them live.
Sick.
And
Okay.
I'm always a big fan of like, you go to these hip hop shows and it's a couple guys on stage with a microphone.
Yeah.
It's You can't really expect much more unless they're big, big, big artists. But
Yeah.
when you go to like a live band, it's just something different, right? It's a different
It is.
vibe.
It's a
And
totally
so
different vibe.
I like all types of music, really. I don't feel I shy away from anything. I go to Sunfest. It's cool there. I did an album called Outlaw. That's a country one. So
Nice. Yeah, I heard that one. That was pretty dope. You play Sunfest and yeah, I'm trying to do a little eclectic shit myself, like trying to get into different genres and stuff, but
it's
it's a
a good lane.
process.
Everybody's trying to collaborate with different genres now. Like that's what's popping right now. hip
I
hop
really want
country.
to. I really want to do some folky shit, like because Victoria's so folky that I want to tap into that market and like collab with some pop because there's so many pop and folk artists, but they're all like none of the ones I've hit up have been receptive. Like I think they think I'm just too small, or I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Just keep going at it, man. Keep following the formula. And
yeah,
somebody will, I mean, I feel like Prevail would be the perfect fit and you guys
he
would
would be
make
good.
that.
He's not really folk, but he would be the perfect fit for that song for sure.
Yeah,
Well, see
because he
if
does have his foot in that door, right? So all his fans would gravitate towards that, and just the intricacy of your style would you would
I think
gain some.
it'd be a good cosign for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, what is there someone local that you think has potential to, or it's local to Vancouver Island? And I'm not setting you up to say me, but is there somebody local, like a young, hungry artist that you are noticing that like you want to shout out?
I feel like I feel like we're at a point where I've seen in the, especially like it's, remember 5 years ago, 6 years ago, how it was like really, really popping and then it died
Yep,
off for a couple of years. I feel like
yep,
everybody's starting to get back into that groove where they're doing the more shows and everybody's staying pretty active and
totally.
everybody's releasing music. Like it doesn't matter who you are. There's tons of guys. And I feel like I always want to see no matter who succeed. I feel like you're working your ass off for this. Confidential's working his ass off for this. I see these other, I
Yeah,
mean, guys are down on the corner spitting in boom boxes, reflections, you know what I mean? He's down there doing his thing. The grind, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Everybody's in the studio. Everybody,
definitely.
A1 is, I feel like, you know what? I feel A1 outworks us all. How about that? He's
I don't know
crazy
about
with it.
you. I don't know if I'd say he outworks you, but yeah, that guy works like a horse, man,
That guy
for
drops a
sure.
new song every day on his social media. So yeah, but no, I see him doing his thing. And Zalia, even though she moved off the island, she's consistently dropping bangers, and I love it. I love how active everybody is. It makes me happy. So not
Right on.
necessarily just one, but like shout out my city, right? That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Um, I got just two more questions here. So, has anyone ever dissed you?
Um, I don't know.
Even subliminally, if you think you know it, you don't even have to say who it is, but like
I don't know. I mean, I
you don't
hope
know,
so.
right? It's kind of a compliment. It really is
Yeah,
it's a bit
if
flattering.
I'm living rent free in your head, then great. No, I don't feel like I've ever gotten anybody sending me a diss song or like showing me and be like, "Yo, this is against you," or this and that. But
Not yet.
to each their own, right? I'm sure it's coming. I've had comments, people like, "Yeah, fucking piece of shit," blah 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 blah, and I'm like, fake profile. I'm like, grow some fucking balls and say it to me, right? You know what I mean? I'd probably
Exactly.
shake
Yeah.
your hand. I'd be like, hey, thank you so much. Can you like post about me and tag me? Sweet.
Right? It's
So
free advertising. The more they engage, the more it pops up in people's feeds and shit. So they're just doing you a favor.
I try not to pay no mind in that. I mean, I do hear the stuff about other artists going back and forth, and I know how it can get, and I know how these guys can be because a lot of these guys that make music are talking about their real lives, and I would never want them to go down the path that I went. So I'm always trying to like mediate things and like I want the best for guys, whether they're associates, acquaintances, or like really good friends. I don't want
Yeah.
them to make mistakes that I did. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah. I
it can
remember you
just
mediated between me and in intent. Remember that?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just want like you know what I mean? It's like nobody needs it. You guys had some words, said what you said. It is what it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all grown ass men. We're all egotistical. We're all alpha males, so we're gonna butt heads.
Yeah,
You
of
know what I
course.
mean? It's just but how we deal with it after and set the example. We want to be this. We want to be these big artists up here and look up to. Let's set the examples, right?
You're good at it, man. I take notice for sure. You're good at like that.
I feel like
Um,
we all butt heads, and then we all like end up back together and just being like, okay, we're all fucking we're good, right? So
some of
we
us,
just let
some of us
let
are dead for life, but
yeah. Yeah, well,
some.
yeah. I mean, there are situations where it's like, I'm good. I'm good. I just keep my distance. I try not to be on social media about anything You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If I have a squabble with somebody, or if I feel a certain way, or maybe I feel like they did something sideways, I'll have a conversation with them before I ever popped off and said something stupid that I regret, right? Because friendships are I value them, you know what I mean? I've lost a lot of people in my life, so
I feel you, man. I feel you.
yeah.
Um, Last question here. You kind of touched on it a little bit already, but what is your relationship with drugs and alcohol like?
Yeah, my relationship with drugs and alcohol is like I sold a lot of the hard stuff, and I've seen a lot of people's lives destroy over it, and I got to take responsibility for my actions in that part. Whether I was just a teenage kid pushing drugs, chasing money,
Yeah.
and wanting to live that life or not, but I've seen it affect my family. You know what I mean? It's affected my family deeply, and the alcohol specifically for me and my family, it's hereditary for sure. So it almost destroyed me. So that's why I stopped it all. I woke up in that cell not knowing what happened, and I said I'm done with it. Before I knew any
That was
choice,
your last drink?
yeah, I was like, I'm done. I'll never touch anything again, and I haven't, because I was like, I didn't want. I woke up and I'm just like, I don't want to be this person, right? So counting bricks and shit like that, it's like that's not the life. So I cut it all out, and it was testing, it was trying, but I did it. You know
Because
what I mean?
you can even get shit in jail if you need to, right?
Yeah, the guards bring shit in all the time. You know what I mean? Guards are fucked. So
Yeah.
they'll bring the dope in, and they'll give you the knives too. You know what I mean? And then they'll tell you who the pedophiles are in case they go stab that guy. Right? It's just it's just the way it is, man. And yeah.
System's fucked.
But yeah,
System is
so I was
fucked.
just like, I'm good. I'm done with that stuff in my life personally, but I still struggle with it within my family and other
That's good, man.
and friends and employees and things like that. I'm like, I'm going to meetings, I'm counseling people, and
Yeah,
I've met a lot of really cool people along the way. That Soberfest has been huge. Mike, shout out Mike. He's done a
absolutely.
lot. He's helped me out behind closed doors more than anybody knows, and I'm so appreciative
Yeah,
of him. Jackie's
he's a good
huge.
guy.
Jackie's yeah, she puts on this front like she's the baddest girl in the world, or just angry all the time, but she has the biggest heart, dude.
That's
Shout
fair.
out Jackie Mooney.
He's just opinionated. People are just intimidated by opinionated people, you know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Mike's a good dude, though. He brought me to I was struggling, and he brought me to a meeting this week, and yeah, he's a really good dude. He said that the Soberfest paid for 11 spots for people's rehab, which
yeah.
is not cheap at all.
No,
Um, and
it's a lot. That's like 20,000 a bed. It's
exactly.
crazy, and that's discounted.
Yeah. So it's he's doing really good things, and I really look up to what you're doing with your to I've struggled with shit, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing really good, man. I'm probably gonna go to a meeting tonight. You don't do meetings, do you?
I've gone to lots of meetings when one of my family members were going through it. I did hella with him, trying to convince him to go to treatment, and he went, and we made the right decisions.
Cool.
I offered to go with one of my guys a couple of weeks ago, just to I wanted to open the door and get him in there and just let him know that he's not alone, right? So, and anytime
Yeah.
you're going anywhere for a meeting, hit me up, man. I'm always down. I
Well, you're
love
welcome
going
to
to.
come tonight if you want. I might bring Jordan K-Brass.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's dope. Good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always good to have your support from your circle, and so you don't feel like you're like
Yeah.
hiding anything, or like you feel like ashamed that you're going to do this, man. It's like I'm 24 years into this, and I still just it gets you right.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, man. It's a disease, and it's there whether you like it or not, and it needs treatment. Like
Yeah,
cancer needs treatment, you know.
yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, you're welcome to come at 7:30 at Dunedin if you want to come, but no pressure.
Dunedin. That's by Mayfair Mall there. Yeah, I've been to that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a 12 o'clock, a 7 o'clock, and a 10 p.m.
Is it a 7 o'clock? I thought it was 7:30 today. I could be
Oh,
wrong.
maybe it's a 7. I thought it was 12 and 7 and 10, but it's all good.
Nice.
7:30, great. Yeah. So what's next for Flesh and Fur?
You're interviewing me now.
What's coming up for Flesh and Fur?
Well, I've got an album coming out with Brother Lin Chung. He is producing the entire album, so
Nice.
the beats are Brother Lin Chung style beats, like eerie
Demonic.
or demonic. Like they're just fucking awesome beats. Like he's killing it with the beats. So
Yeah.
I'm really stoked to put this album out. We just shot a video for it, and the video is gonna look insane. I won't give out too much about it, but I told you already about it.
Yeah.
But
That's dope.
um, yeah, so I've got a it's pretty much almost done. I need to do one more song, and Berlin just needs to remix. I made a song on another beat on a Joyner Lucas beat, and he's gonna remake a beat and like make a new beat for it, you know?
Sick. Dope.
So that's what's going on for me. But
Nice, brother.
I appreciate you coming on, and
Yeah, man.
everybody that's watching, make sure you go follow Mr. Esquimalt on Instagram, YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook.
Mr.
Don't follow
Esq on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music,
Yeah,
Instagram,
and
Facebook, all that shit.
don't fall for his like 100 spam accounts that are fake. He's got a
Don't follow
stalker,
those. I got
and
apparently like 500 stalkers, but it's okay. It's just a sign that we're doing the right thing.
it
And
is.
yeah, you'll know the Mr. ESQ on Facebook one because when you click on the profile, it actually has real 42,000 followers. So click on that one. My TikTok, 50,000 followers. That's the real one. Fake ones are, oh, he's got 2 friends or 10 likes, or you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you can differentiate what the real one is and what the fake one is.
yeah. There you go.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you,
Much
man.
love, brother. Good luck at
Much
the
love.
meeting tonight. Give me a shout later.
All right. Talk soon.
All right, okay, peace.
Peace.